some time off scheduled for the upcoming holidays. We do realize that some folks are out of the office today. Here at Goochland County, our office is opening at 11 o'clock this morning. With that being said, let me go down to our agenda for today. Hey, Sarah, can we go ahead and get a roll call for certification of quorum?
Yep, absolutely. Town of Ashland, Ms. Amos.
Here.
Charles City County, Chair Adams is not present. Mr. Mitchell. Chesterfield County, Mr. Banuelos.
Here.
Ms. Smith. Goochland County, Mr. Goyne.
Here.
Mr. Longerbeam.
Here.
Hanover County, Mr. Vidunas.
Here.
Mr. Hardman. Henrico County, Ms. Smidler.
Here.
And Ms. Austin, excuse me. New Kent County, Ms. Inman.
Good morning, I'm here.
Powhatan County, Mr. Webb.
Here.
And City of Richmond, Ms. Clark.
Good morning, I'm here.
Okay, and then we have Capital Region Airport Commission, Mr. Rutledge. Plan RVA, Mr. Bushing.
Here.
Mr. Allen.
Here.
DRPT, Mr. Hudson. Ms. Dubinsky. GRTC, Ms. Robinson. Mr. Robinson.
Here.
Bride Finders, Mr. O'Keefe.
Here.
RMTA, Ms. Simmons. VDOT, Ms. Sidemock.
Here.
And Mr. Scheid. Okay, that concludes roll, and we do have a quorum for voting.
Alrighty, on to the next item we have here on our agenda. It's consideration of amendments to the meeting agenda. Do we have any amendments for last month's agenda?
Nothing
Or
from
for the
staff.
agenda, excuse me.
I just had a question on the agenda. I think for the tip amendment, it says discussion item. Is that an action item or a discussion item?
Mr. Chair, that should be an action item. Appreciate that being brought up.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for clarifying, Miles. All right, next item on our agenda is the approval of the November 18th TAC meeting minutes. Do we have approval?
So moved.
Second.
Alrighty, the next item we have on our agenda is the open public comment period. Do we have any public comments?
We have not received anything, and it doesn't look like we have any attendees present.
Okay. All right,
Mr. Longerbeam, do you want to call
Yes.
the question on the action for the approval of the minutes? You had a motion and a second, and we need a voice vote for approval.
Okay, hey, thanks, Dorona, I appreciate that. Can we go ahead and do a voice vote for that item? All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
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 And this is Sharon with Henrico. I'll abstain. I wasn't there.
Thank you, Sharon. The next item we have is the chair TAC chair report. Currently, I don't have a report to share with the TAC today. And the next item we have is the FY 2024-2027 TIP improvement program. GRTC. Go ahead.
Yeah, so let me just share my screen and I'll get this pulled up.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, I think I have to wait for you to stop sharing your screen and then I can hop on.
All right, let me do that right now.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Oops. Wait 1 second. Let me actually make sure y'all are looking at the right thing. All righty. Okay. So thank you so much and good morning, everybody. Today I'm bringing you two different TIP amendments regarding the Pulse BRT. So GRTC is making the request for us to update our TIP to add two new projects. So we have the North-South Pulse BRT expansion, and then we also have the Western Pulse BRT expansion. I'm going to start with the North-South Pulse BRT expansion project. So this project represents the next step following the North-South Phase 1 NEPA station locations routing analysis. As you can see on the screen, the North-South expansion calls for 16 proposed station locations, and it would run approximately 12 miles from just north of Richmond at the Brook Hill Azalea Shopping Center to just over the Chesterfield County line near Stonebridge. Here we have the tip block that is provided as a part of the project for VDOT. And moving right along, the second GRTC project is for the Western Pulse BRT expansion. This project represents the next steps following NEPA and the preliminary engineering 30% design phase. This is a little bit of a shorter extension. It's approximately 4 miles, and it will extend the current Pulse BRT station from Willow Lawn to just beyond Parham Road. So the project includes 8 station locations, including a new westbound station platform, as well as additional dedicated BRT lanes and a dedicated park and ride lot location. Here's the tip block provided for GRTC 070. And finally, our request today is that the TAC recommend approval of these proposed TIP amendments to the policy board as requested by VDOT. If anyone has any questions, I would be happy to take them.
Thanks for those updates, Will.
No problem.
This is
Amy, did you? Yeah, hey.
Hi, Will. Thank you so much. Just a quick question. What federal funding is being used?
Why is federal funding being used?
What federal funding? What?
Oh.
What
Give me just 1 second. Let me look at that tip block.
is it 530?
Just 1 second. I'll look that up for you.
Is it new starts, small starts? I mean, GRTC should be able to. I just wondered if they're in the new starts process. And that's funding their programming.
This is 5307 funds being programmed.
Okay, 5307.
Thanks, Wood.
Okay, great. Thank you. So have they applied? Does anyone know if they've applied? Have they started that process?
Amy, this is Diana.
Yeah.
From what I've been told, at least for the north-south, is that the New Starts has a lot more preliminary information that's necessary before submitting. And so this is in preparation to submit to the New Starts.
Okay.
If I'm correct, yeah.
Thank you.
And Amy for the Western BRT. This is Sharon with Henrico. I haven't heard anything about the New Starts grant from GRTC yet. So
That may be small starts, but yeah.
small starts, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah, that one might be small starts. That they should be, okay. Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may just add, the other thing to clarify on these is this is just for the engineering and preliminary design component of both of these extensions. So these are not the full project. So just want to make that clear to everyone today that that's why we're not looking at all those other federal programs for this specific set of tip amendments.
I appreciate you clarifying that, Miles.
I make a motion, this is Sharon with Henrico, to approve the proposed tip amendments as requested by GRTC.
This Amy, I'll second.
Miles, do we need a voice vote on that?
Yes, just a voice vote is fine.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the next item we have on our agenda is Smart Scale Round 7. Miles, do you want to give us an update?
Sure. If you could let me share the screen, happy to provide an update on this.
Absolutely.
All right. So good morning again, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this snowy day. I know a lot of the offices aren't open yet. But we did want to take time today to talk about Smart Scale Round 7. I know you've all been talking to VDOT and DRPT for a while about this, so it's time for us to also start figuring out our project set. So just as a reminder, Smart Scale is the primary funding program that we use for transportation improvements. It's really two separate competitive programs. There's the district grant and high priority projects. The TPO can only submit for high priority projects. And so that's basically a little bit more limited in both the locations that we can be addressing issues on and the types of projects that we can submit. So the main criteria for the high priority projects is it's got to be an eligible project type, has to address an issue on the midterm needs, and it has to be either a corridor of statewide significance or the regional network. So we can't do the UDAs and we can't do the sort of local safety issues either. And the projects, as you'll recall from last round, are a little bit more limited than they've been in the past. So new highway capacity, through lanes, new roadways, managed lanes. We can do new and improved interchanges. On the transit side, it's anything with passenger rail stations, new BRT lines, transfer stations, and then basically anything that comes out of a pipeline, AMP, STAR study, any of those preferred alternatives that we can advance if they're regionally significant and coordinated with the state. So those are kind of the categories we're eligible for. So I know in the past we've submitted shared use paths, some other projects like that. We're not able to submit those in this round. So we're looking for a much more narrow set of projects. And so what we're asking for is your help on figuring out what that list looks like. What we're proposing to screen for is basically consistency with the long range transportation plan, eligibility for the high priority projects. So those categories that we just went through. We'll look at the need priority for VTrans. We'll look at available leverage. So if you have any other funding already on the project, and then we'll look at those readiness gates to make sure that we have documentation that's going to be, ready to go for that one. And so what we're requesting from you all is to submit proposed candidate projects for the TPO to submit. Just like we've done in the past, we have the 12 slots for pre-apps, and I think it's 10 for full app. So we just need the basic details so we can start screening those and come back to you in January with a recommendation on which projects we think make sense to advance. And that way the policy board can act in February to approve our pre-apps before we submit them. So there's an email that will be coming out with a link to a form to fill out to submit your pre-apps. We're requesting that you get everything submitted by next Friday, the 19th, so that we have the full set and we can screen them before the January meeting. That's everything I had for this update. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Miles, this is Dirana. Do you mind sharing these couple of slides with us?
Sure, absolutely. All right.
Do we have any other questions for Miles?
I had one. Miles, should this include like potential Plan RBA applications too, or you guys will sort it all out since
It's
I know
active
it's different?
transportation.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes. So again, Plan RVA and the TPO have historically both submitted. So if you send all your projects that are potential regional candidates, we can screen and take a look at those and see what makes sense with the latest guidelines.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, on to the next item on our agenda. Item 8, active transportation program updates. Phil, do you have some updates for us?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks for stepping in today, pressing you into service. I'm going to try to share my screen. Yeah, thank you. We've had several different updates from other parts of our planning at Plan RVA, from safety and transit, long-range planning. It's my turn today with the active transportation update, and I'm going to go ahead. So working off the Unified Planning Work Program, obviously our purpose is to develop and implement strategy for active transportation infrastructure. And our key is safe and comfortable for users of all ages and abilities. I'm one of these dummies who tried to bike yesterday, for example. I bike in a lot of areas and places, but it's really more about how do we program for people who are the novice rider or the all ages and abilities, those children, young people. So trying to have a protected space. Obviously, our guiding plan has been Bike Ped RVA 2045, which we worked with TAC to update this past spring and then was adopted by the policy board in August. There's 6 key deliverables from the UPWP, and I'm going to go through just a quick update for each of these 6 items. With Fall Line, some really good news here. Obviously, we're trying to support efforts to implement the remaining segments of Fall Line. Design Build 1 was, we had the ribbon cutting in September in Hanover for that 4.8 miles, which is great. And now we, staff did support the CVTA wayfinding efforts as all the localities that have started to have the trails completed. Now we need to implement the sign fabrication process and the wayfinding. So, but that's going well. And obviously we're going to continue working with Fall Line and all the localities that are working on implementing those segments. One of the big things from last year was the spines and spurs and our transit efforts. And again, we already had a definition in Bike Ped RVA 2045 for spines. But one of the big things for us this past year was getting the spurs definition. The map that you're seeing, I'm sure many of you on TAC are very familiar with the spurs and spines and the effort to define all those, select those regional spines and spurs. And then we also worked with all the localities, gathering the proposed projects to include in the update to Bike Ped RVA 2045. Staff also worked on the sidewalk analysis. That report was for improving the last mile active transportation connections to transit We completed that effort in the spring and continuing to use that documentation, the data, I should say, to advise our transit connections and sidewalk efforts. One of the fun things that we've been working on, started working this fall and we'll be working on until next December, is the Western Spine. That's a study to identify the preferred alignment for the Western Spine in coordination with VDOT, localities, and advocates. Like I said, that's ongoing and will conclude next December. We're calling it the 3-Notch Trail Study, and we're collecting and analyzing data right now, putting together a story map presentation and a lot of GIS layers. It's been pretty fun so far. Identifying existing plan and active transportation routes. And again, that's using the Bike Ped RVA 2045 plan, and then meeting with locality partners and developing a stakeholder committee. Several of you I've already spoken with about this, and we're very much looking forward to beginning that process very soon. We're going to have an email going out with a doodle poll, trying to see when we can best get together in January. The Transportation Alternatives Program, that's going to pick up in January when we get the state scorecards back from VDOT. And we're going to come back to TAC in February or March to get your recommendations on scoring. So that's something that I'm going to be working on a lot more in the future. And then our Bike and Pedestrian Count Program. The UPWP has this requirement in here as well. And essentially our bike count program has been somewhat dormant for a while, and it was established in 2015, way back when Sarah Rhodes was working at Plan RVA. We basically have a lot of aging or outdated equipment, and I'm working on a white paper, almost finished with it, to analyze the bike counter program and to come up with recommendations for how we may go forward. We've been working with VDOT and the statewide active transportation count program, and trying to be a better participant in providing data and count points for the overall VDOT effort. This is kind of a map, a summary of their count program around the state. We've got about 60 counters or spots in the Richmond region where counts have been done. Some of those are like Capitol Trail, which, are somewhat live counters. And then there are others where it's just been certain periods with counts that have been added to this map. But most of these, the issue is that the counters you have to download the data manually. And so a lot of the counters need to be updated if we want to do that. And that's part of the white paper, is to identify what's the best solutions for that and cost estimates. So does anyone have any questions?
Does anyone have any questions for Phil?
I see Amy.
This is Amy. I don't have any. I just want to make a comment. I think it's very important to have the bike counters. I think that's incredible information to have. So obviously there is a cost associated, for putting them in, but also to maintain them properly going forward. But I do think it's absolutely important that we have that data. And obviously it needs to be in strategic locations. So I think whatever work you're doing right now, Phil, on the white paper, just to, give the evaluation of the merits for bike counters is great. And then maybe the next follow-up would be to do that study as to where, evaluate where those locations are and, and to make sure that we're really getting the good data. I have another question. And
Yes.
this maybe Naomi might be able to help with this. I know they're updating the revenue share program, and I looked at the language last night. It was sent to me, and I looked at it, and it looked like that the trails and bike ped component for eligibility of those projects was marked out. Can somebody please verify for me? It looked like pedestrian facilities and crossings are still eligible as part of road projects, but are separated trail projects still eligible for that program?
Amy, I don't have the answer off the top of my head. Let me go back and check those edits and let me get back to you and confirm.
Okay. Okay, great.
Yes, thanks for that question.
Yeah, it was just hard to tell. It was marked out, and then there was a reference to a table, and I couldn't find the table. So anyway, thank you.
Thanks for that, Amy. Does anybody else have any questions for Phil?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Hey, we look forward to meeting with you on Friday for the regional trail study
Yes,
as well.
sir. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Heather and I are pretty excited. Thank you for taking the meeting.
All right, the next item we have on our agenda is the TAC February meeting. Miles, do you want to give us an update?
Yes, this is a very brief update, but the TAC meeting for February is normally scheduled on February 10th, but we are going to need to push that back 1 week to February 17th. And most of you have gone through this before, but the reason that we need to do this is for the interagency consultation process for the new TIP that is under development. As you know, we have to coordinate that with Tri-Cities and then also with VDOT's environmental division. And so there's timing wise for all the meetings to line up. We just have to push the TAC meeting back. So that meeting will be just like in past years. The interagency consultation will start at the usual TAC time. The TAC meeting will take place immediately following. But we wanted to give you as much heads up as we could as we're working through the schedules for actually getting the meetings on the calendar for next year. So
Thanks for
I'm happy
that
to take any
update, Miles.
questions. Yeah.
Any questions for Miles? Sorry, I was on mute. I hear none, so we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, transportation agency updates. First up is Wood. Wood, do you have any updates from DRPT?
Nothing to share today.
Okay. Any questions for Wood before we move on? All right. Next up for GRTC is Corey. Do you have any updates for us?
I do have a quick one. Just some small, quick stuff since there was a short time between our last meeting and this one. But this past weekend, GRTC rolled through the Richmond Christmas Parade once again. We featured one of our fixed route buses that was wrapped in a holiday design that was highlighting that GRTC is still fare free. The holiday bus will be out on various fixed routes throughout our service area and throughout the season, along with our Christmas light pulse bus. We are also gearing up for another TAP fundraising effort in January, continuing our work to support zero fare and expand access for our riders across the region. And then on the service side, the Broad Rock Link Microtransit Zone launched in October and is already showing some strong early success. As this progress continues, Route 88 will be replaced by the Broad Rock Link Microtransit Zone. And that service will replace the fixed route service next month, providing more flexible and convenient mobility in the Southside community. GRTC is closing out the year with great momentum and stepping into the new year ready to keep moving Richmond forward. And that is the wrap for this month's agency update. And I can take any questions if anyone might have any.
Any questions for Corey? Since I hear none, we'll move on to the next person here. We got John with Ride Finders. Do you have any updates for us, John?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I do have a couple of updates. Ride Finders, as you all know, continues to be busy and working with GRTC on several projects as well. We did hold a transportation fair at the new VDOT office in Hanover County, And I was there and communicated with 41 employees and talked with them about van pooling options. Talked with several coming from the Chesterfield area, as well as Henrico and Charlottesville, regarding new van pools. We participated in the career day at Linwood Holton Elementary. We also had a bus there from GRTC and talked with students about careers and transportation. We assisted GRTC and the Richmond International Airport in the identification of alternative transportation options for their TSA employees when we had the government shutdown. We've also met with the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts and reviewed survey results with them on transportation surveys as well as density plot maps. We're continuing our collaboration with GRTC's procurement division. We're looking to add more van pools to our program. So we're working on a lot of meetings with them to get a new RFP out, hopefully in the first quarter of the next new year. We're continuing promoting our Count It, Change It campaign through targeted social media posts. We attended the Goochland GRTC microtransit discussion. I know my executive director was on the call with GRTC, I think, as well as you, Patrick, to talk about working on, microtransit and working with Goochland on, the park and ride users. And the last thing I had is Ride Finders did receive another award from the Chesapeake chapter for the Association of Commuter Transportation for the Transportation Demand Management Collaboration and Cooperation Award for our Count It, Change It campaign. And that's all the updates I had. Just trying to be real brief and consider everybody's time. I'd be glad to answer any questions anybody has.
Thanks for those updates, John. Anyone have any questions for John before we move on? All right. Last but not least, we have Naomi with VDOT. Do you have any updates for us?
Yeah, just a handful. Thanks, Patrick. So the Commonwealth Transportation Board update is the same as the last meeting. They're meeting today and tomorrow, so we'll have updates next time we speak with you all. Biggest thing on our end, we did have an engagement deadline for Smart Scale, and we established that as November 21st for the different localities and organizations to reach out to us with potential Smart Scale ideas, and we've received over 85 ideas. So we're going to be taking those ideas. We're going to be figuring out what was a previous Smart Scale application, what is the current study, what documents need to be created in order for it to be successful. And we're going to be working through this month and early next month to get back to all the organizations and share our feedback, comments, and what resources we can offer for Smart Scale. As for transportation alternatives and revenue sharing, those are still with central office. They're completing their review and scoring and validation of those applications. So haven't heard back on when they're going to get those to us, but it seems like they're moving pretty quickly and we should hear back soon. And let me see, the biggest thing I also want to share is some trainings coming up. Especially we do have our Smart Scale Round 7 training coming up on January 15th. So that'll be from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's a long training, but we're going to have both central office coming in to do their overview, and then we're going to have some district focused information in the afternoon. So please sign up for that if you want to learn more about the application process for Smart Scale and get some insight from the district on lessons learned and how to get a project into a Smart Scale ready state. And then we also have some training January 7th that is on ProWag. So if you want to learn a little bit more about right-of-way and accessibility, that training will be really informative as well. And that's an all-day training also held at the Richmond District. And Amy, I know you had that question for me. I'll take a look at that and I'll follow up. I can also copy you, Miles, so you have it for everyone else if anyone's interested. If anyone has questions, let me know.
Thank you, Naomi.
Thank you, Naomi. First of all, here at Goochland County, we look forward to working with you on our Smart Scale projects. And I've really enjoyed attending the training in person and virtually at the Richmond District, and appreciate all the time and effort that VDOT has put into getting me up to speed. And I look forward to joining the training on January 7th for the ProAg. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Naomi before we move on? All right. Thank you, Naomi. Next item on our agenda is we have the Plan RVA newsletter, which is linked here in the agenda. If you have not taken the opportunity to look at the newsletter, I encourage you to do so. There's a lot of informative information in the newsletter, and I found it personally very helpful. Next item on our agenda is TAC member comments. Does anyone have any comments for the group?
Patrick, this is Nora.
Hi,
I just-
Nora.
Sorry, I'm not at work, not on a camera. But I just wanted to let everyone know this will be my last TAC meeting, unfortunately. Well, exciting. I'm going to Goochland. I'm coming to work with Patrick in economic development. But I thought yesterday I kind of caught off guard at the CVTA TAC meeting, but I thought about it more. And when I came to TAC, I was like a youthful 28-year-old coming to save the world. And I knew absolutely nothing about transportation planning or all the acronyms that you all used. But through Joe and Barb and many others, I've learned so much. And sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, but I'm really thankful for all that you all do for the region. I think it often goes unnoticed, but I don't think we could go out anywhere in the region and not be impacted by something that you all do. So just big thanks and happy holidays.
Love you, Nora. Good luck.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Luck.
Congrats, Nora.
Thank you, Nora. And I look forward to continue working with you. And I know Austin is on this meeting as well, and he feels the same. And, my first meeting, with Plan RVA, I didn't really I had pulled the address up on my phone, and I'm not, even though I worked in central office my last year at VDOT, I wasn't really familiar with that area. I would drive to the annex building, and I rarely left the building. I normally would pack a lunch or not eat a lunch, and I would stay in the building, and I would either go down to the parking lot there, and then eventually I got a parking space in the garage. But not being familiar with that area, and I'm rushing to try to get into the garage and find my way in. And the first person that I met was Dorona, and Dorona was very nice, and she helped me to find my way to our meeting. And the first TAC meeting that I attended, I sat next to Nora. And I really appreciate each and every one of you. I've learned a lot in my short time here. Being somebody that's not worked with the region before, I really value all the leadership and expertise of this group. Thank you.
Great job today, Patrick.
Yep, thanks, Patrick.
I appreciate you bearing with me. It's a little bit of a surprise here. If we don't have any other comments, our next meeting is set for yeah. So we have next meeting is January 13th at 9 a.m. And if we don't have any other questions or comments, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Happy
Thank
holidays.
y'all.